Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our Lunch and Learn session today. I'm joined on stage with Jen Artan. Welcome, Jen. Jen is my colleague and a member of Ellie's publishing team. She is our Canadian language benchmark content writer and presenter. She has represented Ellii at language teaching conferences across Canada, and now we're so excited to have her here presenting at our very own conference. So thanks again, Jen. I'll pass the stage over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Lise. I am so excited to talk to you today about flashcards. It's such a creative tool that we can use in so many different ways, and maybe some ways that you didn't think about. So what are we going to talk about in today's workshop, Lunch and Learn? The title is, of course, creating and using flashcards in the language learning classroom. So I'm going to show you around how to find some of our pre-made flashcard sets, but also how you can customize and use flashcard sets with your students. So I am going to share my screen. So just give me one moment and open it up. Our flashcards, of course, I've been using flashcards with my adult learners, but flashcards can be used for so many different purposes. So I just want you to, as I get my screen on, think about how you might be able to use flashcards with your students. I'm hoping and expecting to see a lot of sharing in the chat today. So if you've got flashcard ideas, games, or activities that you've done with flashcards, please share with your colleagues. This is what we're here for. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off, like I said, I'm going to talk to you about how to use flashcards for potentially assessment prompts, classroom discussion, into intro and review vocabulary. So let me just get into some of the pre-made flashcard sets before I go straight to our new flashcard section. So just give me 1 second here. I'm going to drop down and take you on a tour of where you can find some of these picture dictionary activities. So I'm going to just scroll out of here. I'm going to go into a section, especially a very popular section where you can find the pre-made flashcard activities called Picture Dictionary. I'm going to jump into word bank readers and open that up. I'm telling you, I'm trying to explain exactly where I'm going because I know some people are still new and getting used to how to find things here at Ellii. So I do want to try to take this part a little bit more slowly than we've been taking it before, because I know some teachers are saying, wait, where did you go? What did you do? So I'll try to be slow. Definitely ask for repetition if you need these instructions repeated. All right, I'm going to jump into the section here on word bank readers, and I'm going to go into Ms. Miller's classroom. I'm going to open that up. So in here, I'm going to go into the digital task player again, because I want to show you, I want to use the pre-made flashcard sets called Picture Dictionary. So this might be a section or a topic that you've already used, or if you're going to be using at the beginning of a class. So the pre-made Picture Dictionary set is often the very first task. And again, I just want to show you and give you an idea of what these flashcard sets do before you start customizing. So here it is right here. I'm going to push the start button like so. So in the flashcard set, this is the basic layout. Again, we're all about simplicity. So you do see the image, the way that it's set out here, you see the image without a text. If I want the text to appear on my screen, again, I might be in that face-to-face classroom and I'm projecting onto a screen, or I could be sharing my screen on one of the many digital conferencing platforms that our teachers are using right now in hybrid and fully online teaching environments. So if I'm sharing my screen, obviously you want your students to be involved as much as possible. So you're going to elicit, what is this? You're going to click on it, and then the word textbook, the text will appear right below it. You'll also notice to the top right, there is an audio icon. And click on
textbook.
Just let me know in the chat, can you hear the audio when I click on it?
Textbook.
Awesome. Okay, because there's some more audio, some great audio features coming up later on that I want to make sure that you know how to hear. To advance through these activities, just simply scroll through it. There's the other one. What is this? And then you can click on that audio.
Pencil.
Remember, these are digital tasks. So all of these digital tasks that you see here in the task player can also be assigned to your students as homework. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that these were around and that this is what this activity is all about. So let me just exit back out, and I'm going to take us back to the main page at Ellii by clicking on that homing beacon. Okay. So now I'm going to take you into our flashcard section. And you find flashcards by going into the drop-down menu right beside the materials. And you go now into Media Gallery. Now remember, flashcards used to have its own area, but now it's in Media Gallery. So you're not going to get lost. You're going to click on Media Gallery, and it's going to open you up onto our main flashcard page. And this is it. This is our flashcard collection. I'm just going to show you around here and see what you can see in this section. All of the flashcards are currently listed, but I can choose a category along the side. There are a number of different categories, but before that, you'll notice that there is a search bar at the very top. Now, this will filter your searches. So if you're looking for social emotional learning words, like emotion words or things like that, you can put those terms in the flashcard search button, and it will find related items just in the flashcard category. Of course, you can still always use our Ellii main search function, that magnifying glass at the very top, but this one right here inside flashcards will find the stuff that you need at the time that you need it in flashcards. All right, so I'm going to scroll down and show you some of these categories. Grammar and punctuation. I'm just going to click on grammar and punctuation. I'm going to open it up just to show you what you can see in here. Now, it always defaults to all of our grammar, all of our flashcard items in this category. You're going to see these all appear, but now you've got some subcategories to the far right that you could perhaps, maybe you're just wanting to look at prepositions of place. You're doing a preposition location or preposition activity, or you want to build those skills because you're going to be needing this particular grammar item. So you can choose prepositions of place like so. And all of the flashcards in this category are going to appear. Now, at this time, I could launch the slideshow immediately or share it with my students as is without making any customizations. I'm going to do that in just a moment. I'm going to go into another category along the side. Before I do that, I'm going to scroll all the way down to digital literacy with Ellii. So this topic has come up quite a bit at the conference. Obviously, our students need to be able to manage and navigate different kinds of digital literacy devices and platforms, setting notifications, turning them off, things like that. So inside this particular category, I'm going to go through it. Now I'm going to click into the video conferencing subcategory. And again, here are the two options. I could launch the slideshow as is or share directly with my students. So if I share with my students right now, I'm going to be sharing this entire subcategory as is. But maybe as I'm looking through it, I'm looking at it, okay, actually I'll launch it and I'll show you what it looks like. Launch the category. So I haven't made any changes yet. So here is the item. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It's adjust volume. I'm going to click on
adjust volume.
Okay, so maybe this isn't exactly what I want my students to learn. Maybe it's too complicated, or I can make that a little bit easier. On the far left-hand corner, that hamburger menu, those vertical lines, if you open that up, you can see that right there. Sorry, I should have a better pointer for you, but if you open it up, you are going to have the option to get in here and edit some of these words. Now, this is a temporary fix. So you've launched it right now. This is just the temporary fix. If I want to keep these edits, I'm going to go in and customize my own set. But just to show you how you can do this really quickly, this is how you could do it. And now it's going to allow me I'm going to take out the word volume. I'm going to scroll through. I can delete one of them or two of them if I don't need them in this particular activity that I'm doing at the moment. Microphone off. That's too complicated. I'm just going to do mute and unmute. So I'm going to edit that for right now. Everything else looks good. So I'm going to click on done. And now it just says volume.
Volume.
And the extraneous word adjust, I don't need it. So it's not there anymore. And again, I can scroll through. And now all of these changes, like mute, for example, used to say microphone on or microphone off. And it just now says mute. Okay, so that's one way you can get in there and play with the settings as is. So I'm just going to exit out. Okay. And go back into the main category, into all. And now I'm going to teach you or take you through some of those tips and tricks on how to create a customized set of flashcards that is yours, that you can share with your students to practice whatever you need. So the question is, why do we customize? Like, why does it matter? Well, we customize flashcard sets to personalize to your students and to fit your locality. So for example, I'm in London, Ontario, Canada. So maybe if we're doing, I'm trying to think of what I might, parts of a house, furniture in a house, you know, you've got couch and chair, table, all those things. But where I am, some of us still refer to a couch as a Chesterfield. Maybe that just dates me. But, you know, if our students had come across this term before, they say, teacher, what's a Chesterfield, right? You can put that word in there for your students to learn as well. So you can customize it to your locality and customize it to fit your learning objective. So I'm just going to look through here and we are going to create a set. And I'm going to show you how to create a set based on all of these amazing flashcards that our design team have created. So I'm going to need a little bit of audience participation in here. And I'm going to jump in there. So my question to you is, it is Friday. And we are looking forward to an amazing weekend. It's going to be a beautiful fall weekend here in Southwestern Ontario. Do you have plans for the weekend? And if so, what are you going to do this weekend? I'll get you started. It's pumpkin and apple orchard season. I love going there. So I'm going to type in the word pumpkin and see what I've got. And there's pumpkin. And I'm going to keep an eye on the chat to see what else we've got coming up in there. Just put your ideas. What are we going to do? Oh, film, movies. Excellent. Okay, pumpkin. I'm going to add that in just a moment. So all right, so I'm eliciting ideas from my students. I'm going to click on that tiny little plus button. And now this vocabulary piece is going to drop down into my tray. And I'm going to customize that in just a moment. But I want to keep searching. So I'm going to look for movies, Toronto Film Festival. Oh, I hope you run into Brendan Fraser. That would be awesome. All right, drop down, movies. Here's a good one right here for film festival. What else do we got in here? Go to a festival, walking, traveling, hay rides. Oh, fantastic. All right, let me just do another search. We'll say, I'm not sure if we can, well, let's see what we got in here. Nothing for hay, unfortunately, but let's do a tractor. Maybe we've got a tractor. All right. This isn't exactly going to fit, but we're going to customize it, remember? So we'll put that in here. Maybe you're going to horse. Maybe there's going to be a horse involved in some, you know, we'll put a little horse. Here's a good one right here. And somebody mentioned hiking, right? Hiking. So we'll say, I'm going to put in this word here and we'll do a trail map. And we'll do, what else do we got in here? Travel. Let's see what we got by travel. If I type in travel. Maybe somebody is going somewhere by plane. That's what I heard. All right, so we'll put that in here. All right, so you get the idea. You want your students to be able to, you know, generate their ideas. And then there's some student ownership. They own these words. They own these flashcards. And it's so much more meaningful than just creating a set and assigning it to your students. So I've got, well, you know, maybe 8 to 10 would be good to start. So I've got a set. Now I'm going to click on Save to Set again, because now I want to edit and make my changes to it. So I'm going to click on Save to Set, and I'm going to click on a brand new set, and I'm going to call it One Weekend Plans. And click on, I'm calling it this, you can call it whatever you want. I have to actually put a bunch of hashtags in it because I've got about 170 flashcard sets that I've created and I don't want to lose it. So when I put a little hash, though, that not hashtag, the asterisk up there, it bumps it up to the top of my menu. So I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to click on Save. And now I'm going to find my flashcard sets by going into my drop-down menu, dropping down and going into flashcard sets like so. And it will load here on all of my saved flashcard sets, which I now have 173. You'll notice there's a tab at the top. everything that I've shared with my students so that I can remember what I've already shared with my group, they are located right here. Classroom party words, family words, vocabulary, and things like that. So I am going to find the one I just did. Where did it go? Weekend plans. So I'm going to open it up like so. So now these are all the words that we haven't adjusted. So if I click on it right now, I can listen to the word.
Travel. Trail map. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Right? So you can hear the words that are already in there. But again, I don't like that. I'm going to click on edit. So now I can add the words. Now, again, this is future tense. So maybe I want to include a grammar function in here as well. The weekend, of course, is in the future. Maybe going to might be a good grammar function that you have. So you're going to type in the box. You can even add I'm going to travel, like so. And I can just copy and paste it just to make it a little bit quicker. I'm going to trail map. No, I'm going to hike on the trail, perhaps. This one, I'm going to get rid of all of that text. Control V. Oops. I'm going to ride a horse. Okay, and this one here, Control V. I'm going to go on a hay ride. Unfortunately, there wasn't hay in there to add there. Maybe that's something we can add to our flashcard sets at one point. I'm going to Control V. I'm going to go to a film. I'll show you just how I'm going to go to the TIFF. We'll see what happens when we do that. We can always edit again if we don't like the way it sounds. I'm going to Control V. I'm going to visit the pumpkin. Is it a pumpkin patch or a pumpkin orchard? Pumpkin place just doesn't sound right. I don't know. What do you call that? Pumpkin patch or a pumpkin orchard? I think Charlie Brown called it the patch, but I'm not entirely sure. So you can let me know in the chat if there's a word that you prefer. Let me see. Do I got one? Patch, patch, patch. Okay. All right. So it's a pumpkin patch. Okay, so I'm going to click on done editing, and now here is the magic. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to travel. I'm going to hike on the trail. I'm going to ride a horse. I'm going to go on a hayride. I'm going to go to the TIFF.
To the TIFF. I was wondering if it would say TIFF or the TIFF.
I'm going to visit the pumpkin patch.
All right, so now you've got your own customized, but it's even better than that. I mean, how often do you say, I'm going to? We actually kind of say it more like, and I hate to write it like this, and we probably wouldn't, but if you want to change it, I'll show you how this is going to sound. If you want to make it sound more like how native speakers, you know, how that we have that, the sounds that run together, I think it's called an ellipsis, right?
I'm going to travel.
Our computer voice is going to say that too. I'm gonna. But I know as teachers, we look at that and we say, you know, there's something cringeworthy about seeing the word written as gonna. But you do have that option to do that. So, and you can also drop in and reorder it. So you might have, maybe you want to put the film festival here and this here. You can move it around as much as you need to. Just drop in done reordering. But now I'm looking at this customized set, and I think this is a fantastic set, but it's missing a prompting question. All right, so I want to add another flashcard to it. So I'm going to go back into my flashcards, drop down, remember, materials, media gallery, and I'm going to type in the word question, just the word question. Okay, and I'm going to add it right now. And now I'm going to click on Save to Set. I'm going to add that one to those weekend plans. Save. And I'm going to click back into my saved flashcard sets by going Saved drop-down menu and dropping into flashcard sets. And again, it's the one with a bunch of asterisks called weekend plans. So weekend plans, I'm going to jump back into here like so. And now I've got the question, but I don't want it to say question mark. I want it to ask the students a question. So I'm going to first reorder. I'm going to drag my question so that it's going to appear first. Now I'm going to say I'm done, and now I'm going to edit. And the question is going to be, what are you going to do on the weekend? Right? So what are you going to do on the weekend? Now you have up to 80 characters to manipulate the text here when you're customizing. And that so far I haven't run out of space. So it's a good amount of space to do what you need it to do. Now I'm going to click on done editing, and I'm going to listen to it.
What are you going to do on the weekend? What are you going to do on the weekend?
There you go. All right. So that's your flashcard set. Now, again, I can go back and share it with my students, but I'm just going to launch it just to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to click on that launch button. And this is what happens. Your students are going to hear the question.
What are you going to do on the weekend?
All right.
I'm going to go to the TIFF.
You can actually spell that out. You have enough characters to say Toronto International Film Festival if you wanted to, but that's it. And again, remember, I can still go in and make those temporary adjustments if I wanted to. So maybe I'm going to go in here and I'm going to, I believe I can edit. Can I edit? Maybe not. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Under the settings, you do actually have the option to have the text appear with the image, so you can change whether you want the image to appear first, or the text and the image to appear together, or just the text to appear and then the image to come after. So you do have a number of different options, and you also have a literacy font option as well. So I'm going to go back into my presentation. Okay, doesn't look like I can edit it here, but that's all right. So I'm going to go back in here, and those are my sets. Now, how do I share them with my students? In this case, I've already got it saved here. So I'm going to jump in, and it was this one right here. That 3-dot menu. So if I click on it like so, it's going to open up a number of menu options for you. You're going to scroll up and then click share with students. And then it's going to take you through some prompts. Now, I'm going to drop down. Now you can see that some of these are grayed out. That's because I can't share them with a class that doesn't have students in them already. So that's why I can't share them with those other classes I've got up there. But I can go ahead and click on one of my classes. I've got students in here. And all right, I'm going to share them with all of my students. Continue. And again, you're going to have an option to add a note. So if you are you're assigning this as digital homework. So maybe you want your students to think of more ideas, right? Maybe think of 3 more ideas for the weekend, or something else that they can do so they can bring this back into the classroom with them. So this note will appear at the top of their dashboard when they open up flashcards in Ellie's digital classroom, which is a great feature. You've got up to 280 characters to leave a note here as well. But again, keep it simple. And then you click on share, and now your students have access to that. So yeah, that's fantastic. Lots of things you can do, but there's more, right? So you've got your flashcards, and of course your flashcards can be used to review terms, but I'm just going to scroll in. I'm going to jump into one of mine. This one right here. I'm going to click on it. One teacher actually that I was talking to recently, a link teacher at a face-to-face, yes, a face-to-face conference, she said, I love Ellii materials, but I really want to see more listening features for the lower levels. And she said, maybe just a bunch of people saying what they did on the weekend. So that got me thinking, you can do that in flashcards. So I created this flashcard set, and then I was able to show her what I meant. So this flashcard set, yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. So I found a bunch of different flashcards. So what did you do on the weekend? Simple pass. So now I'm going to launch it, show you what we've got here. So it would start off with the question.
What did you do on the weekend?
Maybe she didn't do too much.
I was ill.
Click on it to see the image. What's happening here, right? Again, you're going to elicit the vocabulary from your students as much as possible. What is she doing? She cut things. She did some creative work. She did some arts project. What did she do? Anybody know? What did she do on the weekend? Any guesses? I can't see the chat box here, but yes, I think, all right. Yes. Crafts. They did crafts, right? Exactly. I did some crafts.
I did some crafts.
Great. Right. And of course, the studious one, she did some homework, right? So I put in 30 of these. Oh yeah. What's happening here? This actually, unfortunately, are part of my weekend plans this week. I'm going to be doing this as well. So here we go.
I did laundry.
I did laundry. I cleaned. Oh, wait, this one. Dr. Katie Welch was just talking about this. What did we do here? I would try it, I'm sure, but I've never done yoga. Very, very interested in people.
I did yoga.
People that do yoga love yoga. What's happening here, right? All right, so I'm just going to exit out. You get the idea. You can see all the different ones here. I can open them up, my presentation. So, right, here's one here. I went bowling. I went to the clothing store. I watched a movie, right? I checked social media. I relaxed. I walked the dog. So I found about 30 different items in here. Again, 30 might be a bit much. You might want to break it down, and you can maybe have groups of 6 or 7 at a time, depending on your language level that your students are in. But just goes to speak to how easy it is to customize a flashcard set so that your students can listen to a particular thing that you want them to hear. Like I said, a past tense activity, a future tense activity, and stuff that's connected to their personal lives that the students might actually have done this. And this is what I was saying before. Get the students to populate this list. Get their ideas. Do a poll. Do a Menti poll, or or get the students to put their ideas. And then you've created that flashcard list based on their activities, based on things that are meaningful to the students. And when it's meaningful to the students, they're going to remember it. They're going to hear how to say it and what it sounds like. They're going to practice it. They've got it on their devices, and they can do it as many times as they need to. So, and then when they come into the classroom, of course, you know, they're prepared for when the teacher says, hi, Ginny, nice to see you. What did you do on the weekend? Ginny can say, I did some yoga. Then I did some laundry. After that, I walked the dog. You know, so they've beginning to practice and routine and things like that. Again, one of the great things that I love about being able to customize flashcards at Ellii. So what am I going to do? Yes, some activities and games and classroom discussions. So many ideas. And how do you get to these ideas? I'm going to show you how to, actually, I'm going to open up this one right here. Here's a great discussion task. I'm going to launch it to show you what it looks like. So maybe you want to break some ice with your students, or maybe you're doing a food theme unit or something like that, right? Maybe get them to, you know, delve into their creative properties and ask them this question.
What can you do with broccoli? Think of as many ways as you can.
There you go. Broccoli recipes. Let's go. Students might never have really thought about that before, but you know, it's a discussion question, right? There we go. There's our broccoli. And even I edited the text here to say,
yum, broccoli.
She does the pause really, really well. All right. So there's a discussion question, but I'm going to jump in and I'm going to show you another one here. Let's see. I'm going to go into, so I've created a flashcard set, and again, I could launch it, I can share it with my students as is, but when you want to start doing some games with your students, review games or introducing concept games, there's so many games we can do with flashcards that are just so much fun to do. And you can see as is, I've got a number of food items. Again, food's kind of an easy topic to do. So you've got a number of food items. You can, again, edit any of the text that you need to. But I'm going to now click on the print option. Now, what happens when you click on print? I'm not really going to print, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it or launch it into the PDF. And when you do that, you're going to have some options. I can choose to show my image and text, or just the image, or I can actually put the text on the back. If I am really going to print it, it might be useful. or text only. So there might be different functions that we might use these different options for. You can scroll down. We have 2 font types you can choose from. Again, keeping it simple. We don't need to have 600 fonts for teachers to go through, because you give teachers a list of fonts, we're going to play with them and then say, where did those last 2 hours go? Right? I'm going to keep it in color. Now, what is a really cool part here is that here are your print options. You can print a single image on the page and have a game that way. You might be actually printing things off for your classroom. But here, if you chose 2, you're going to have 2 images on the screen at once, and then you can do a kind of a game based on that. But in this case, it's a 4 corners game that we've created. So I'm going to click on the 4x4, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to click on print flashcards, and depending on how many pages you have, it might actually take a bit of time. So this actually opened up on another screen. So just give me 1 second here, and I'm going to open up the screen. Drop down. Okay. So I have to jump in and jump out of my screen. So you'll see me here, and then you're going to see me back in a second. So give me 1 second here. Chrome tab. There we go. So now your images, as soon as it loads on the screen, my apologies, but now your images are going to be in a 4x4 block. So you've got these 4 images. And you might be starting with a group question or a paired question. I'm going to ask you in the audience, based on an internet activity I've seen recently, choose one that you are going to have to give up forever. You can never, ever have it again. What is it going to be? So get your students, they have to think about it. And to even make it more challenging, tell your students to work in a group of 3 and have them agree, because they're never all going to agree. You're going to have someone say, nope, you can't touch my coffee. My coffee is, coffee is life, which is what I would be saying. And then there's some people that would be saying, my pop, my Diet Coke, don't touch my Diet Coke. I need to have that. So what can you give up? Hot chocolate. Oh, you can't imagine never having a hot chocolate again. Our Ellii is located in Winnipeg, Manitoba. They have got some amazing, beautiful, snowy days. And just imagine when the snow is up to here, having that hot chocolate. Can you give it up? Right? Or a milkshake. Oh, imagine a nice milkshake. It's summertime and it's just, it's whipped up and it's nice. What are you going to give up? Right? So a lot of people are saying pop. You say pop, but when it comes down to it, it's hard to do. So there's another one here. This one might be a bit harder. Rice, potato chips, French fries, or onion rings. But now I'm going to change it. Now I'm going to say to the students, it's not eliminate forever. This is going to be a daily dose. Choose one item that you have to eat, and only this, every day for the rest of your life. Which one will it be? Probably be rice. Rice you can do so much with, but daily dose. Daily dose. You can have this one right here. This is interesting too. This would be good for the daily dose. This is your only meal every day for the rest of your life. You can't have other foods with it. This is it. Choose one of these. This is going to be your meal every day for the rest of your life, right? What is it going to be? I think sandwich would win, because sandwiches are just so much more versatile. I don't think people would say hot dog, but you never know, right? So these kinds of games, just fun games that you can use to play with and things like that. But let me just jump out here. I want to get back into another activity real quickly. I'm going to share my screen again, so I'm going to jump out. The other thing you can do, which is a really great review, it's called the slow scroll. And the slow scroll involves choosing the print layout, the single print layout. And so it's just printing one. And what you've got to do before you share your screen with your students, you have to zoom out as big as you can so that it's not immediately apparent. Well, this one is a bit more immediately apparent. I'll open it up. And so it's not immediately apparent what this item is. So in this case, the context would be fruits and vegetables. And so you're reviewing vocabulary with your students and you ask them to shout it out. What is it? And then you can slowly start scrolling. Oh, we see more of it. What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Hopefully somebody gets it. Anyone say? In the chat, you can go in the chat. What fruit or vegetable do you see in the chat? I see tomato, tomato, tomato. You're right. It is a tomato. All right. The next one. All right. Start scrolling. Oh, what do you think it is? You see a little bit of green. What could it be? Lots of vegetables are green. I see lettuce. It could be cabbage. Could be kale. Could be broccoli. Who knows? Brussels sprouts, green peppers, but no, I think it is the lettuce. And then scroll on again. Here's a pickle. So again, these are just some fun things you could do with the different print options. And I'm going to show you just one more because I know we're going to be running out of time real soon. I did want to take you back in and show you some of my assessment ideas. So let me just exit out of here. Close out of here. So there's so much you can do. We actually we'll be having some flashcard workshops coming up in the fall. So if you do want to join us once we know when they're going to be, we do give audience the chance to do more of a hands-on with our flashcards and create your own set and then play around with the different types of activities that you could potentially do. So let me just go back into my flashcard sets. Again, I did say I would show you how to possibly set up flashcards to help you with assessments. Of course, you could always do question prompts and things like that. But I'm going to jump into my flashcard set that I created called Health Visits. Okay, so this would be a flashcard set that you've given your students to prepare for. Perhaps you're leading towards a real-world communicative task involving going to visit the doctor, right? This is something our adult newcomers need to know how to do. They need to know how to express themselves. And especially at lower levels, they need to have the words to do that. So you might have practices in class, and then you're going to have a prompt for your student. So maybe you choose one of them, and or you can let the students review all of the prompts, and then you're doing a face-to-face discussion where somebody role plays being a doctor or at the doctor. They talk about their symptoms. And so they
visiting the doctor's office.
Okay.
I threw up. I have a rash. I feel dizzy.
Right. So you've already created this personalized set so the students are prepared for, again, to then either work in partners and practice for a role play wherein they do this kind of a real world communicative task, talking about their issues. And sometimes you don't want to talk about your own issues, so maybe they choose one of these cards to talk about, or two of the cards. Maybe they need to choose 3 cards. I have a rash, I feel dizzy, and I have chills, right? And then you can role play the other parts of this particular activity. So again, it could be something that you do like that. All right, so I'm going to exit out of here. And let me just, I think I've got time to show you one more in here. Oh, there's lots. Similar and different. I like this one too. I'm going to do a print. Actually, no. I'll just show you what that looks like. Okay, let me just jump in here. Where did it go? Similar and different. No, I'll open up my guess. My guess is better. So what I like to do with this one is I've created some flashcards that include all of our characters in Ellii. And it's like the Guess Who game. So you end up doing that either in 8 view or the 16 view. So you can get a grid of all these different characters on one page. And, you can reorder it as much as you want. So you would have 16 of these characters on the page. And I've personalized it. I've renamed all of them. But then you can start saying like even like an I Spy or 10 questions. Student chooses one person but doesn't say it, and the other students in the group would have to say, okay, does your person have brown hair? Is your person wearing a green t-shirt? Well, yes. Okay, but there's like 4 green t-shirts, right? So is your person wearing a face mask? Yes, my person is wearing a face mask. Is your person Sebastian?
Sebastian.
Yes, it is. Right? So again, just one thing you could potentially do with that. Ezekiel does look kind of angry.
Ezekiel.
But you can give all these characters names of your students in the class. That would be fun as well if they thought that would be fun. So all the students, all the people are here. So many things you can do with flashcards. So many great ideas. But I am looking at the time and we are coming up to the end of this session. Again, flashcards can be an underused area for adult newcomers. And my suggestion is, go in there and see what you can do with it. Create icebreakers, create warm-ups, discussions, all kinds of, customizations for, using discussion topics, talk about this and have a picture prompt or things like that. So yeah, there's even so much more that I haven't said, but flashcards, again, are such a great resource for teachers. Is make it part of your toolkit. Make it part of your toolkit to use with your students, share with your students via the digital classroom platform. Okay, and with that said, I will ask Lise to come back on. I can stop sharing here. Just give me 1 second.
Perfect. Great, Jen. That was really fun. Thank you so much. I think sometimes as teachers, we forget how powerful it can be to use flashcards, even with Emily's presentation before on graphic facilitation. Images, this is such a great way to teach your students new ideas and not just vocabulary, like you were showing, grammar concepts, all kinds of stuff. So don't dismiss flashcards. Flashcards are fantastic and a great use in every classroom with students of every level. Ellii.